Adam Pearce hosts the contract signing between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. Fatu just dumps the table to the floor as Roman arrives, and we get the security wall. But Reigns, after signing the contract, tells everybody to leave, and they had to wait this out because the crowd realized it's his birthday, so they sang happy birthday to Roman. Reigns is alone with Fatu and explains to Adam Pearce that Jacob took a blood oath and cannot touch him.
Yeah.
That needs to be in the non-physicality clauses in AEW. Some blood oaths, I think. So they go face to face, and Roman says, all you had to do was acknowledge me. But Fatu refuses, says, I'm not like everybody else. Roman, I acknowledge that you are the reason our family is living the life and on top of the mountain. But Reigns, you elevated this family, and it's time for a change and another destination. And asks if Reigns lived by the code of the Bloodline at Backlash, or did you bend the rules to win? And Fatu threatens to dog walk your bitch ass in tribal combat, and everyone will have consequences. So then Reigns explains what consequences really are and what happens. If Fatu wins, you become the new leader. But if not, then I'll be walking you like a dog. And in my favorite line for any go-home segment in history, I will domesticate you.
And he said, say, I will neuter you.
They used the dog walking line way too much here. It was like, had to be used like 4 times between them. It's like, okay, we got it. You ran it into the ground in impressive fashion here. It says, you will serve me and you will love your tribal chief. And Fatu gets the last word, saying if he loses, this was funny. He's like, if I lose, it means I still have a job here. It's like, okay, there, way to really put over the severity of this stipulation. But if I win, then everyone will learn to acknowledge me. And they shake and go head to head to finish off the show as they head to tribal combat.
Yeah. Have they done this sort of shake and touch foreheads thing in the past with tribal combat?
I think this is what you and I had to do when we incorporated this business. We had to file our trademark and
in blood, of course. Yeah, we
had to slice open our arm and take a blood oath. So there you go. That's how the show ended. This one felt it felt a lot hotter going into Backlash. This one feels as though this is going to play out relatively similar. I think we'll get a great match, but I think you see, like, it's almost like they're already telling you the story of, like, Jacob Fatu is going to fall underneath this guy in the Bloodline. And I see him, like, being in this role for months, and then maybe it's like Royal Rumble time that he's going to, like, break out of the Bloodline. But you could certainly argue, like, this guy they need new main eventers, and Jacob has done really well in this role. I will see how this plays out. I'm not crazy about this idea if he's just going to be, against his will as part of the Bloodline.
So I would have suggested that maybe, like, heading into, Backlash, but I mean, seeing how the crowds are reacting now, I mean, tonight they were so pro Roman that I simply don't think like Jacob trying to push him as this, like, babyface underdog against, like, like Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, it's just not working. People aren't really into wanting to see Jacob beat Roman Reigns. They want to see Roman Reigns beat Jacob, and therefore, Fatu felt more like the heel in this segment just simply by the crowd's reactions, which is not what the story entails. So,
fair enough. It was the man's birthday here.
That is
birthday,
true.
Right?
Yeah, he had birthday. Yeah, happy birthday. 41 years old, Roman Reigns. But I think you're running about as far as you can with Jacob Fatu at present time. Like, I think having him be champion, I don't think that creates the most, like, interesting matches. It would confirm him to some extent, but I also think it's not the best thing you could do for the championship or the shows at the moment. But taking it this far and finally having Jacob be one of the members of this renewed Bloodline, I do think now that's the best course, especially en route to your big faction wars that you can have against, your babyface teams, and hopefully even eventually to, like, a War Games if they, can stay the course for that long. But
do you think they get Solo and Tala Tonga involved in this, or are they going to be kept separate?
No, I don't think so. Those guys aren't as hot. as the others.
They're trying to do something with Tala Tonga. I don't know if they quite like. It seemed like they were pushing that, reunion coming, but
I think those guys would soften the group. Like the Usos, Roman with Jacob. Those feel like the hot acts of the family right now. I wonder if a heel Sammy would find any sort of role, but he almost seems like he's doing his own thing.
What if a hooded figure comes in and it then reveals that's JC Mateo?
I'm not so sure. I think you might see Rikishi before JC Mateo.
Okay, there's our ultimate tribal chief.
Yeah.
Rikishi. If the Post Wrestling Cafe were to undergo a drug test in the month of May, we would be testing positive because we are overloaded with content. We are going to be reviewing Hulk Hogan, Real American, all 4 episodes this month. Plus, we will go inside the Manosphere with a review of the latest Louis Theroux documentary. We will also have coverage of the Ronda Rousey Gina Carano fight, also taking place on Netflix. Rewind Away tackles WCW Super Brawl 2, and we cover NXT TakeOver Brooklyn from 2015. All that, plus all of the XL editions on a weekly basis, Collision Course, Daredevil Born Again, and so much more. It can all be yours at postwrestlingcafe.com. $8 gets you in the door.